And I wonder, why can't they stand somewhere and tell Kenyans the type of business that they do?
Yeah.
I wonder, within 1 week, within not even a week, within 2 days, from Saturday and Sunday, a single politician in this country can donate over 100 million, sending different groups, talking about one person. Something else stood out is, for me, is a very, very, very dangerous and sensitive statement meant by my president, the President of the Republic of Kenya, that he will not hand over power to people without a plan. There is a plan, and a serious plan for that matter, to end extrajudicial killing in this country. Kenyans must end through the ballot the current leadership.
Yes.
To ensure devolution works and is well resourced in this country, we must vote out this administration. It is not him to decide if he will hand over or not. If he remembers how he came in, it was very difficult. In fact, even there was an attempt, we hear there was an attempt to overturn his win, but that did not still stand. So it is not him. He is just one among many Kenyans, and then the Kenyans will decide who leads this country.
Thank you. Apostle, good to see you once again.
Thank you.
What stood out for you the entire week? It's been a tough one, so to speak.
Yeah, Victor, the murder of Albert Ojwang was very painful to his young wife, his father, Mr. Dennis, his friends, his colleagues. But what stood out most to me is the fact that once again, the youth in our nation have been provoked into action, because to a very large extent it looks like no one really cares about the rule of law. And while as matters are being investigated, at least there should be a very clear expression of the intention and the goodwill to have this matter expedited to the end that we know the truth, what happened, the truth about the allegations that Albert made, was it true or not? And if it was, then what should have been the treatment? Should we have murdered him or celebrate him as the one who brought out the truth? But in case his allegations were not true, then there is a system of governance in our country, and there's a legal system. If you make illegal allegations about anyone, there's a way you are treated. You should be charged in a court of law. You have messed up with someone's name or personality, jeopardized his career, etc., etc. In case there were some gray areas, then there would have been a give and take, but definitely not murdering his life. And that's my greatest concern, is the fact that our youth, and remember there is a 25th coming next week. That sounded to me like it's arming them, while as in the church we've been talking about forgiving each other. Let's come back to love one another. Now that, threw some spanner in the works. And I hope and pray that Kenya will be safe.
I'll come back to that, because the church also finally spoke yesterday regarding the matter. But Oscar, we are here. And I remember last week when we had a conversation, you were not so amused by what happened. And at some point, you're so disappointed.
I think, again, for this, my take is, it is sad if you lose anybody's life, for the loved ones, for the family, and innocent lives for people like Albert, or what happened. But it was not just Albert's case. There were a lot of cases. There are some other cases. I think there was even some prisoner who died in a police station in Kisumu.
In Homa Bay County.
It was in Homa Bay County. Yeah, which is also under investigation. This is under investigation. Again, I really don't support that we need to go for mob justice if such a thing happens. I think the due process, anybody, for example, what Mbai is saying, anybody, if subjected to such thing, the people who killed this guy, I don't think they were police. I think they were criminals. Whether they were in police uniform or police service, but if you murder somebody, you are just a criminal and should be treated like so. And the people who are in services in every sector, we've seen governors stealing monies meant for HIV or people in big offices. This is just
that remains an allegation, Oscar.
What I'm saying, yes, there's not an allegation. Even what they're saying about DIG having been involved in this, he was a complainant. But now, whatever investigation that IPOA is doing, IPOA is raining people in court even today. There are 3 people who were arrested yesterday who happen to have been inmates at Central Police Station. It is said that they might have been used by the police to do this heinous crime. They are the physical people, the direct people who did the murder. Any other person who could have been a complainant or whoever who was involved in this was somebody who only aided, probably. If it is in America, it's called, you're accused of second degree, there's first degree murder, second degree murder. People who aid the act of this particular offense. But there are people who are directly involved, who are physically involved. And you know one thing, the level of our technological power that we have today. Did the police who took Albert, for example, to Baghdad hospital know that there were CCTV cameras that were covering them? Probably they didn't know. But now it became open. Did we have, even the Central Police Station, the first story was that the CCTV cameras were tampered with. But IPOA is reporting that they've gotten almost 36 hours of that CCTV camera working. So it is also again captured in camera. So I think we need to not subject anything to mob justice. We need to have a due process being followed. And the beauty of it, that even the due process is not just human due process, but it is helped by technological manpower that we have everywhere. So even the phone logs, you see, the police who are escorting this guy to Baghdadi should just be taken in, for example. They hand over their phones to the investigator. The phone logs will always show, where were you at this particular time, whom you are talking with, what instruction were being given. This one are with our respiratory in the name of either Safaricom or Telecom. So everything, I just say that if we subject it to political mob justice, which I can see the opposition has started, just to put more chaos in already a chaotic and...
the opposition has started, what
has the opposition done, by the way?
I mean, if you go to political rallies, to start prosecuting this case in political rallies, you'll bring even more chaos to the already chaotic system. The already a chaotic problem. Because even the messaging from the police heads, what the IG is doing, can I give me a minute? What the IG is talking about, what the DCI is talking about, the messaging has been a bit problematic. So we can see a bit of chaotic system in the entire system. And the problem of police brutality, it is not something that you can blame.
How are they supposed to frame their words, the opposition?
You know, at the end of the day, if you subject some of, according to our laws, anything that is, for example, in court, are not even supposed to be discussed in this level until it is heard and determined. So when we subject and we crucify people, even you, Victor, or Deputy Governor, if you have a case in court and somebody decides to prosecute it in public, we might only interfere with ideas that are being conversed in court.
Let me also just ask, before coming to Daktari, so which is more worse? The police, first of all, the police spokesperson said that the gentleman committed suicide.
Yes.
And based on what the opposition is saying, is whatever is already out there. Which is more worse?
What I meant is the police spokesperson was involved in misinformation from whatever we're getting now. The DIG, unfortunately, it was the DIG.
So how would you compare the two?
Completely didn't know what was happening because of his messaging was problematic. The DCI messaging could have been problematic because what is coming out now, what we are watching on CCTV, for example, when this guy is taken to Baghdadi, he's already dead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Dr.
A very quick one. I don't want to belabor this issue because it's so painful and it's very serious. I remember when the MP died, none other by the governors and the MPs from Nyanza, they immediately following day, they demanded and said they want to know the killers. I mean, we are all saying we want the person with the highest responsibility to be arraigned. But quickly, I feel for IPOA. Let me tell you, when the vice chair went to the Senate, she said,
chair of IPOA.
Right. She said, our officers are not even armed, yet we are supposed to arrest policemen. This is a case of very serious people in police. And IPOA, the chairman said here, this is in April, IPOA cannot arrest anyone. We depend on the police to arrest themselves. When you want to arraign an officer, you still need another officer to carry out the arrest. This is the IPOA chairman. Unlike other public servants, police officers don't step aside when charged. They continue to work while still armed. This is April. Now, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I'm hoping for a miracle this time round. But as we speak, I don't see IPOA doing this to the end, because they are dealing with the powerful people and they depend on the resources and the police and the handcuffs. They are not armed. IPOA officers are not armed. What are you talking about?
Why will you arm civilians?
That is the case. Then what is that? Then this is a circus.
This police
Then they will not do their work. That's my point. IPOA is not properly capacitated to deal with high senior policemen when they commit a crime.
Let's
take
a break. Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Look, I want to say something. I want to serve Dr. T. All right. I want to serve Dr. T.
But I have some.
When it sounds like that.
No, we don't want Kenyans are tired, you know.
Let's take a break. I want to serve you tea. That's the only thing that will calm him down. I know. We'll break back with more. Stay with us.
Catering one-on-one, cleanliness. Where is the onion? Sasa, what is this?
Mandazi.
Mandazi kuna nyama ndani. Nini mandazi ina gani?
Hii chakula hata unajua ni bei ngapi? Unataka nini?
Hata kama ni kukichele, uwezi niletea mchele design.
Na sanga hii kamilio nimemeza tumba.
Namasa. Hakuna iwezekani. Atajua tu. Yeye ni nani?
Ni nini mbaya na wewe Mogaka?
Umetumaliza kabisa, yani umetuchemuza. Yes, now this is what we call the smoking place. None. You see?
Karibu tomeke.
Hii ujinga yako ni ya ukoo.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here the Audios when it comes you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
All right, Dr. Mbai, you have your coffee?
Yes, yes. I don't have your coffee.
I promised.
Yes,
so all of us have our cups of coffee.
Yes, yes.
Gentlemen, let's enjoy as we do the show. I want to give Apostle, you want to say something, Apostle?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Before we went for the break, Dr. said that IPOA has no power to execute their mandate because they are not armed, etc. But I think there's one very important power or tool that they have, and the Constitution allows them to have that, and that is information. If IPOA cannot do anything else, but in the course of their investigation, they place the truth on the table and tell Kenya, we have investigated this matter for the last so many days, and this is the chronology of events. This time, this place, Albert was taken and went through this. We have full CCTV footage for that, and then this and that happened. If we have the information, we would also determine the way things should go. But as it is, if IPOA does not get the truth, then we cannot be set free. And no one else is empowered to get the truth apart from them. They're supposed to be balanced, not inclined towards any or favor any of the sides. But if they don't get the truth, then that's why I would say that though they are empowered and enabled and weaponized, then they will have failed the nation.
As you add on that, where do we bring the aspect of politics, law and order? Because it seems that at the end of the day, some politics will be played in between, some serious matters, but there must be law and order in executing, even in politics, there must be law and order.
True. We all Kenyans are supposed to adhere to our laws, whether the supreme law, which is the constitution, or any legislation or any policy by the government. We need to adhere. But the issue of Ojwang is a little bit straightforward, because we have seen an agency that is supposed to protect Kenyans issuing different, and in fact, almost literally 100% of what has come out from National Police Service has been proved to be a lie. So in this case, Sir Potter once said, fish stings fast from the head. Yeah. I think this whole discussion about Albert Ojwang is about achieving justice.
Yes.
I want to go further and say, out of it, can there come out something, whether a law or now people should, or now Kenyans should be arrested? Because I believe if it was just a post,
there is.
No, it is not there. There is something that is pending in Parliament that is supposed to be legislated on how one should be arrested, particularly if it is not criminal, if it is not anything relating to terror. If it was just a post about an IG, a DIG.
That is deemed to be a civil case, civil matter.
I expected maybe somebody to issue summons, not to use the government resources at their disposal to go all the way to Homa Bay, then start transporting the person back only for the person to... By the way, if this thing did not leak to the public, most likely Ojwang, Kenyans will not have known whether there was somebody by the name, the late Albert Ojwang. This matter could have just ended, covered, and the chapter closed. So maybe because now Ojwang is no more, we can use this opportunity and agitate for proper law to be put in place on how our state agencies should be arresting Kenyans. They are there to serve Kenyans, not the other way around. Some of us, like being an Inspector General of Police, it's like being a god in Kenya. You know you are there to serve Kenyans. You are not there to just be saluted, to just, you want to get somebody's life, you can just do, without forgetting even the harm that you are carrying. There are many police officers around you. They are not there to guard you as a person. They are guarding the office. Today, I'm seated here as a deputy governor in Machakos. But at the end of the day, it is the office, not the person.
Yeah.
So in this case, maybe as much as we are advocating for justice, which I think in this case, let's call out the way it is. Anybody who has given misleading information, including the DIG, because we read from mainstream media, not through social media. We read through mainstream media that the CCTV in Central Police was interfered with.
Yeah.
Who sent for the interference of that CCTV? That can only come from somewhere, because it was said clearly. Some people came from Vigilance House. Who is the head in Vigilance House? It is the DIG.
Vice Chairperson actually said before the Senate, so it's out in the public domain.
In this case,
Yeah.
in this case, if that is the case, the head in Vigilance House is Deputy Inspector General of Police. He needs.
I think we are going
it goes without saying that we are not saying he is going to interfere with the investigation. That's not what we are saying. But just as is the case in other sectors, if you are in any particular office, it is being investigated because of one issue, or step aside for just fairness. Because by and large, the people who are being questioned are your juniors.
Yeah.
Can they implicate you when you are in the office?
Gentlemen, how do we bridge the gap between Wanjiku and the law enforcement officers? Because it seems that based on what happened, there has been a lot of work being done to bridge that gap. But as at last week, it has widened. We've made several steps ahead, and now we've made miles of steps back based on what happened. Let me start with you, Dr.
No, I was supposed to go. It's going twice.
No, okay, fine. Oscar, go ahead. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, but now, what I'm saying, you were discussing about civil law and order. That as much as we have all these issues, we have to maintain civil law and order.
Yes.
For even us to drive to come to this place, the roads must be orderly, there must be traffic officers, there must be order so that... And you know, we've been here. We're not new in Jerusalem. We've had a situation where we have disorder here, where you can't even get into Nairobi Central Business District.
Right.
So as much as we talk, we don't have to get into a lot of rumors and innuendos and things that are not verified. For example, what governor, deputy governor is saying, that some people we are sent from Vigilant House and what have you. The guy in charge of Central Police Station is the officer commanding Central Police Station. He is the officer in charge. He is the IG at the Central Police Station. He is the head of the station. If you look at the system and schedule and have the head of that station is, and this crime happened under his watch. Currently, he is in police custody. You know how investigations have been done, which I think for the last, since Nudin Haji was the director of public prosecution, he decided to use a particular strategy on prosecution.
Yeah.
He never prosecuted one individual. For example, if he wanted to arrest a governor, he will arrest a governor plus 8 others. So he was arresting a network. Even now, I think what the IPO are doing are arresting a network. From the network, by the time they're brought into real prosecution, you have watertight evidence. That is when they turn other people to be state witnesses. For example, the young boy who was arrested, who was the technician of the CCTV, is under arrest. When you arrest these people who are inmates at Central Police Station, who are said to have, they are under arrest. At the end of the day, if you give them time, some of these guys will turn to be state witnesses. But leaving them to be out there, that is when witness and all these cases are being interfered with. So I suspect that if you give them time, some of these people whom you are calling for their arrestment, they will be arrested. But by that time, IPOA and whoever investigation will have a watertight case, because they will turn...
Point of order. Just a minute. It is something on what you are saying. Kindly, can Oscar tell Kenyans and the world, is he in support of exit or stepping aside of Langat or not? Because he's going around. And the reason why I'm saying so, Victor,
we don't have civil law and order here.
Yes, because These are officers under the command of Inspector General, Deputy Inspector General of Police.
If we go like that, what Deputy Governor is suggesting and what Mbai is suggesting, we will end up in anarchy.
Okay.
Why? Can I finish now? Can I just finish, then I give them chance? Let me tell you.
Right.
We had last year, for example, in June, we had the Gen Zs and these young people getting ready into Parliament, and all these institutions were being attacked, right? Then we called for law and order. Because the thing is, they were trying to go for clause 1 of the Constitution, that when people feel not represented, they can represent themselves. The problem with that particular law, it has not been operationalized. What happened next? For example, if you dethrone a sitting president in this country, then where do we head? Can I finish? We head in chaos.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, even this investigation, I don't refuse, and I'm not supporting the deputy IG at any level. I'm saying that due law, the legal process and the legal procedure must be adhered to so that we get law and order. Secondly, I've told you that the strategy that I suspect, I'm a political analyst, I analyze it, the strategy that is being used, where I've seen even the case of Ongondo Were, people arrested, including the border riders. At the end of the day, you know and know it very well that some of these guys get to be turned as state witnesses, so that they are used against that is called in political science called the Tunnel dilemma, where you arrest two.
Thank you.
You don't have. Can I just finish? Can I just finish some concept? There's something called political dilemma. The dilemma is you arrest this guy, and get evidence from them.
Oscar has so many concepts which are okay. You ask a question. What is Wajiko saying?
Can I speak for Wanjiko?
For the last 1 week.
Exactly. Now that's what I want us to go
Exactly.
to.
What Wajiko is saying is this. It's a whole week past. Wajiko is seeing a lot of drama and movements. And he is wondering if it was a son of a minister, a cabinet secretary, a PS, a son of a who is who, 1% of leadership, things would have rolled very badly. If it was a son of somebody.
They're elite.
But no. But because he's a son of somebody, some teacher, whatever there, that's why it's a whole week and people are just dancing. Let me tell you, luckily for government, you have a week. Next week, during Gen Z anniversary, they are coming.
No.
Victor.
I'm saying they want the highest person to take political responsibility.
Who are
and the beauty about Kenya, Victor, today information is seeping through, right? Information is coming. Nobody knew about Bagavi. Thank God. Okay? So people are able, Wanjiko is able to put 1 + 1 together. No. So they are saying this. Let me go back there. Whatever the church said, right? Whatever the opposition said, whatever everybody said, kindly DIG, all fingers are pointing at you. Kindly step aside to give people hope, to give Wanjiko hope that there could be some truth. Somebody said yesterday, please DIG, do the honorable thing. If you are not involved, you come back. That is, you're talking about law and order.
Thank you.
You're talking about, I think I was there, I wanted to deliver that point.
The threat of the Gen Z.
So now, Wanjiko, law and order. Politics, law and order.
Just withdraw
you step aside, then you come back.
Can we have law and order?
Yeah.
No, that's law and order.
Apostle.
If I can say something, and I will speak like a layman, I will speak for Wanjiko.
Go ahead.
This is the thinking of our Kenyans, even the lowest of them. If those who are supposed to protect us are killing us, whether the highest or the lowest, the police force is supposed to protect us. They are part of the executive arm of government, the execution of the law and the policies of our nation. So if those who are supposed to protect us are killing us, even if it's the sweeper in Central Police, if those who are supposed to, or the CCTV engineer, if those who are supposed to protect us are killing us, then are we safe? The answer is we are not. So what should we do? And that's why all these reactions we are seeing. And I personally believe that this matter should have been treated with a little bit more of urgency so that we can quiet things and so that Kenyans can begin to look at the future and how do we continue with the process of uniting Kenya and building our nation. Of course, politics is about the fight for power, who is in control of power. But governance is different from politics. Governance is the actual application of that power for the well-being of everyone who is part of that given state or nation. And so one of the things that is messing up this whole thing is the inclusion of politics. I think we should stop politicizing this process and think as Kenyans, whether you are affected or not, as Kenyans. If it was my brother,
I don't
if
like
it was
this.
my
Let him explain what it means by politicization. Apostle, what do you mean by politicizing this matter?
What you are doing? By that I mean, no, I'm not pointing fingers at him. I'm speaking, to all Kenyans.
Yeah.
If we use this situation to gain some political mileage, whether in government or out of government, or if, for example, if say I was president, thinking, and then I thought if I sack my own DIG, and it will look like I failed. And because I'm thinking about 2027, so that will not be good for me. Okay, just hypothetical thinking. Or say the opposition. This is a case that you will use this come 2027 to show Kenyans that this government.
So most sides are using this for political mileage.
So yeah, but if we stopped all of that, and
who holds the highest responsibility? It's not opposition, it's government.
And we thought about sanctity of life and how to make sure we remain as one, as a nation, as we approach 2027 and as we build our nation, etc., etc.
I think the show is done. And I'll be inviting Apostle, he can be in the middle. Now, Apostle said very well. No, Victor, let me ask you. At no point in this life does opposition wait for somebody to die so they can begin political.
And you know when you had
let me say this again. At no point, let me just say this. Victor, let me be very calm here. I'm an expert on peace and conflict studies. I know how expensive conflict is. I went to school to study that.
You're not peaceful.
Wait a minute. I'm just saying, at no point does the opposition go around waiting for an agenda code, let somebody die so we can begin politicking. The responsibility of security and order lies with the government.
The thing is,
let's be very clear there.
So how do you bring that synergy between Wanjiku and the law enforcement officers?
One, a panelist, Oscar, said in his statement that demonstrations that were carried out by Gen Cs were as a result of the reason why they stormed in Parliament, they did all this, is because they were promoting anarchy. Anarchy means lack of governance in place. But Oscar, I think he was out of the country and he was not following. I think whoever informed him maybe misled him, because Kenyans want their administration, whether county or national government, they want their input to be heard, to be acted upon, to be respected. The issue is why Kenyans were rejecting 2024 finance bill is because there is what they said and it was not taken on board. Instead, Parliament decided to ignore and move ahead with the things we don't know where they got them from. And that is how they said, okay, that is what we have done. Power can be exercised direct, or we can you can represent that. In this case, we withdraw it, we have it. And they did what they did. In this case, I don't advocate for violence whatsoever. That is not the way to solve a problem, especially where the country is involved. But when you have a government that cannot listen, what do you do? When you have systems of governance, institutions that have been captured, which are unable to make decisions independently, what do you do? When you have, like I'm seeing in one of the headlines, a section of church is just in bed with those with big, deep pockets, which is money stolen from taxpayers. What do you do in such a case? You are left with one option, to go to street. But I urge Kenyans, fellow Kenyans, when you go to streets and you burn or you do something, you destroy something that does not belong to you, I don't think that is the way to go. If we have to picket, if we have to demonstrate, we need to do it peacefully. Now, to come to your question, how do we ensure law and order and we link the same to Wanjiku? One, we need to respect the Constitution. We need to respect the laws of the land. This is not to Kenyans, to even those in the authority. That is number one. Number two, we need to respect Kenyans. Some of us, even when you see some leaders just thump out here, you wonder, did this really person go through an electoral process? Or he or she just found himself there? Okay? Because some of the statements you hear are alarming. You wonder whether that is really a leader. Number
Mostly from
3.
opposition, right?
No. When you hear and it is here,
Where?
it is here you are seeing. Well, this is not opposition. I will not hand over power to people without a plan. What are you saying?
Why will you hand over power to people without a plan?
So, in this case, it is not you to decide. It is an electoral process. The outcome, you have to respect that. That's what I mean of constitutionalism. So, in this case, I think the third point I was putting across is we need to ensure there is independence on the public institutions.
Yeah.
We need not to be directed by anybody on what to do. We need to adhere to their mandates.
Can I come in now?
In 1 minute, I want us to talk about something else.
Just to respond to whatever the president said. And I don't like it when we have people, for example, who have authority to the level of a deputy governor misinforming the nation. For example, if you do a speech analysis of what the president said yesterday, he was very clear that we don't have to hand over power to people who want to divide this country, who've been propagating violence, and apart from that, propagating things like the shareholding and dividing this. That was politics, that's what he said.
Okay.
And I don't think it is right. Number 2, issue of the Jains, don't misunderstand me. I'm saying, when we started this panel, we were 4, but we were, like, I thought we were 3 against 1, but now I realize we are 2 against 2.
I'm the neutral. According to Daktari,
Can I finish?
According to Daktari, I'm neutral.
Can I finish? The question Victor was asking, how do we direct the country?
Oscar, there was nobody against anybody.
Okay. I thought. But what I'm saying, how do we get what
So,
we call...
Oscar, in this panel, you are the government.
No, wait.
You are declaring yourself a government.
What is agitating for? They're agitating for civil and order. I'm agitating for civil and order. They're agitating for anarchy. So we are divided. And I'm saying,
but
we cannot go for anarchy. Even the Gen Zs, whatever they were doing, and don't threaten that the Gen Zs will come tomorrow.
Oscar.
They're not going to come. There is order now.
I want to
Order.
All right, Oscar.
Whatever happened last week,
it's okay.
whatever happened last week, you must, on this table today, directed by Oscar, you must condemn that this what happened in the streets.
Oscar?
Spoiling people's properties and whatever demonstration that happened here was not proper demonstration.
Thank you, Oscar.
People just
Victor, allow me to reconcile these 2 brothers.
Okay.
Allow me, that's my work. While Mr. Omoni,
Where do you belong?
I'm in the middle. Look, the table is, I'm in the middle. Right in the middle of the table.
Okay.
I wanted to say that while yes, the president said what he did, and to me that was politics. That was not necessarily leadership or governance. But you know, while he might think that the opposition has no plan, the opposition is also saying he does not seem to have a plan.
And that is politics.
And I wanted to bring now, therefore, the balance.
Yes.
And so politicians will do their thing. But what Kenya is looking for is not more politics. You know, he asked the question whether some of our leaders really went through an electoral process. But you know, politics, and sometimes the louder you are and the more moneyed you are, you will get the seat. But a politician is not necessarily a leader. And politics is not necessarily leadership. So we should have a merge of the two, that the politician who campaign get the seat. After that, get into power and begin to lead the people. I'm a little bit concerned about the campaigns that have started too early. This is more than 2 years, before 2027, and politics is on high gear already. I think what we are looking for is leadership, and we also want to see leadership not only from the government, but also the opposition should also be leading. What should we do? And pave the way, and perhaps set some examples, some parameters. Better. And if no one is speaking for Kenyans, the opposition also has legal experts who could maybe go to court and present a case on behalf of Wanjiku. My point is, leadership is what will get us there, not more politics.
My last seconds, just on my last sentence on that. Just 2 points very quickly. I agree with him. My point is very simple. Please, the president, by saying, I will not hand over to people without, that was ill-informed. It was unnecessary. It is causing unnecessary discussion. Wait a minute. So it's not necessary because it is not for you to hand over power. It's not for you to determine whether somebody have a plan. But hold on. No, this is very important. Please, let me be on record. We know very well the first 2 weeks of Gen Z protest last year was peaceful until it was infiltrated by people who wanted to come cause chaos and show that it is chaotic. I can't say here because I'm a leader. I like to say what I believe. The allegations last week were that the demonstrations were infiltrated by people who were impeached. Wait a minute. Who came and burnt vehicles from Grogon to show that it is chaotic. I want to stop it there. I'm saying this. Please, my brother. The young people say, I need a what? I need a phone. A bottle of water and to just go and just be there. If you allow young people to dance the whole day, they'll go home in the evening. Please, let's stop infiltrating peaceful demonstrations. That is where the problem is coming.
The leader who infiltrated the Gen Z
there's a question last year
was impeached because of hijacking the revolution.
No, let me tell you now. Let's not go there because that was not one of the grounds.
It was only because of the speech that was held in Mombasa against another state officer during this particular...
that is not one. Let's not go there because it's the whole discussion.
Yes. Add Oscar and Dr. Moti. More coffee. They cool down. I want to say this.
The question, DG, even as you... Because this is going to be part of as we come to the conclusion. So how do we bridge the gap? That's the question I asked. Because Wanjiku is becoming more jittery. You may be arrested because of a misdemeanor, but the fact that you've been arrested by a police officer, there is that sense of, am I safe? Yes. All right? So how do you bridge that gap? For me, that is my concern because mistakes do happen. Somebody doesn't follow the law, and a police officer is there to make sure that law and order is followed. A simple case of a civil case that would have been either taken to Mawego police station or Homa Bay or Hughes, the gentleman is no more.
And the police are human beings.
So how do you bridge that gap to bring more trust to Wanjiku?
By the way, Oscar, yes, Victor, thanks for that question. I think simply we do the right thing. Whether as a citizen or as a police officer or as a state officer or as a public officer, please do the right thing. Did the right thing about Abbott. Today, you could be here with us. But because we did not do the right thing, that's why we are talking what we are talking. Secondly, please, as we continue talking about this grave matter, please, can we agitate for a law that will ensure the better arresting of Kenyans by our enforcement agencies? It's very important. Number 3, you need to do, you know, the reason Victor personally and my party and many Kenyans, and I can challenge, we get fought here about whether DIG should step aside. Stepping aside is not being sacked. Stepping aside is not an admission of guilty. It is a question of I'm being touched because I'm the one who complained about this thing. I did not expect it to happen the way it happened. And because it happened, I willingly step aside to allow thorough and proper investigations to be carried out. And once that is done, you come back. And you come back as a very strong leader. Now, I think if my bottom line, Victor, is we do the right thing. It's very important. And adhere to chapter 6 of the Constitution, Okay? Oscar, be orderly. Don't defend the realm. You know, when you're eating, you don't understand some things.
Don't misunderstand me and accuse me of defending you.
So, Oscar, what we are advocating here is good for you and for me and for everybody.
Else.
Remember the words of Siaya Governor James Orengo.
Government.
That
government
eats
their own children.
Their own children. Today you are here and defending the same thing. Tomorrow we will meet here crying, and most likely it is us who will say.
But there's a question you have. I like respond to your specific question because that's why you are here. You've asked a question: how safe? Because somebody can be arrested anytime, even today. What happens? Yeah. But I would answer you this way, and we are here to do analysis. One, this was not an ordinary arrest. Now, for record, DIG never formally went to complain. There is nowhere in OB, in any police station in Kenya, where he formally complained. Okay. Now, that complicates the matter, because it seems he used some other powers because of his position to go pick the guy. Okay. Now, I want to say this I think for the last time of this issue. Let me say this for record. And I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about the loyal position. This is the position that there is a team that is not meant to go, massage you, pick you, go take you to court. They are meant to, unfortunately, harass, abduct, kill. And this is not me saying. It is on record like 2 months ago. The second deputy president wrote it and said it's a squad and said who heads it. So this is not your ordinary person who just arrested because of, those stories of, you did this, you are taken to court. Unfortunately, there is another squad. What we are appealing as Kenyans, please, Mr. President, the buck stops with you, not even with the DIG. Okay, and what we are requesting you, just come and announce, wait, one, the DIG will step aside to allow for, and number two, I have disbanded the squad. That's what Kenyans are waiting. It's not your ordinary thing. But let me tell you this. Let me finish this way. Oh. Victor, assuming it's me, assuming the allegations that were done, we all know which ones that we don't want to repeat them, that, or issues on corruption. If I don't own what I was told to be owning in whichever country, for example, what I would have done, I would say no, so that we send a lesson. I'll have that guy arrested. I'll go complain formally, right? Right? I'll go complain. The guy is picked. He takes to court, right? So that another young person doesn't do the same. If I don't, if I own, if what I'm accused of, Victor, I have done what I'm accused of, I'll think, wow, kumbe these young people know what I've been doing, know what I'm doing. But me, if I have not done that, and I don't own a house where I'm told to own, I'll just let it go. Okay. Because as a public figure, you must have some big skin. You cannot go kill. You can't kill because of another issue.
Thank you.
Victor.
Apostle, yes. Last week I was with the chairman of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Dr. Reverend Kobia, and asked the same question. That the unity or the trust, there's a lot of trust deficit between the law enforcement officers and Wanjiku. And I'm still putting this question to all of you, even as we wind up, that how do we bridge that gap? Because it seems that it's widening, and even now as the church, you also have a very critical role to play to bridge that gap.
Thank you, Victor. That's a very good question. I personally think, and my thoughts are informed by the fact that the president, who is the CEO, and has a whole office and mechanisms in place. The office of the president has the highest level of intelligence. They, I believe, by constitution are allowed to get access to more information than any other state agency. I personally believe that the office, as the president has informed, well informed by his office, will be the man to sort this matter out by issuing a statement that is well informed and that gives direction to what should happen. If he chooses to, say, speak to the judiciary or to IPOA, he has been saying, speaking of course, but I'm saying with finality now, to bring to conclusion these matters that are pending in our nation, to cause national cohesion, especially because of this matter of the murdering and the abduction and harassment of young people. The president will be the one to determine this matter by the statement he will issue, and of course the execution, the action that will follow that.
My take is that we have independent institutions for us to go well as a country, we have to give authority to the independent institutions to do their work. If we say the president is the CEO of the country, the buck stops yes with the president. But again, things like IBC, IPOA, these are independent institutions, and the intention of the people who drafted the constitution was that we give power not to personalities, we give power to the institutions. So we hope that one day Kenyans will have to get benefits from the independent institutions, number one. Number two,
perhaps starting with this one.
Perhaps starting with this one.
Okay.
Number two, that's why I told you I don't support anarchy, and I say IPOA is...
Why are you pointing?
No, I'm just saying. Can I just finish? Did you realize that I didn't interfere with the buyer when I was talking? Because I don't support anarchy, even in this table. Now, somebody like, you said NSIC, you were with the Reverend here. He had someone, former Deputy President Gachagua, because of inciting Kenyans to violence. He has not respected those summons. So he doesn't respect the law. He wants to continue with anarchic situation in the country. For example, now, can I finish? I'm just talking about, the due diligence. I am saying this by
Go ahead.
Tomorrow, and Deputy Governor, you will be accused of a silly thing like Deputy Governor Machakos is a wife batterer. And after that, then it goes viral on social media. And now you're being hanged on social media, and you're now told you have to vacate office over a baseless accusation. I respect that we follow the law and make sure the processes are done until when we get to the right people.
Oscar, what are you trying to say?
For example,
Oscar,
when the president will do a mistake, can I just finish?
No, listen to the question.
Oscar, what are you trying to insinuate? You've given an example with the DG. What are you trying to insinuate?
No, I'm
based
saying,
on what we're discussing?
No, what I'm saying, that Oscar can be accused of doing something. I teach at the university. Then somebody accuses me of giving students free marks because of a pay.
No.
And then you accuse me.
That's another
I'm just giving an example. And don't take this one literally. I'm just giving an example. Don't pin me down on that. I'm giving an example out with Oscar. Because we give exams at the university, and you know they've been accusing of sex for grades.
For marks.
Then somebody accuses me of that one. Then you take me to social media. Then it goes viral. Then Oscar has to step aside. What I'm saying, if the president does a mistake of using whatever accusation on social media to fire his officers without investigation, he will end up without a government.
Stepping aside.
He will end up without a government. The president must respect the law. Let the law take care of it, of whatever is going on. Let IPOA do its work. Let IPOA arrest those people. IPOA has arrested the OCS Central Police Station where the crime happened. IPOA has arrested other police. IPOA has many people, almost 8. 3 are being arraigned in court today. And it's going on. Can we just give time so that this thing is done properly? But if we want to do mob justice, it has never worked in any country.
Okay.
It will never work for us.
All right.
The last thing is, I'm saying, just for the sake of this nation, calling upon all this time the young people and politicians who are using the young people called the JNZs, who are an amorphous group who currently doesn't have a head or tail, to the streets for violence. It is anarchy and that type of thing. They've tried, I'm telling you, for the first time.
You can't say they don't have a head or
since 25th of June last year. Many attempts have been made.
Oscar, so the question is...
Anarchy in the streets.
Finally, in 30 seconds, how do we bridge the gap between the law enforcement officers and Wanjiku? You've not answered that question.
How do we bridge the gap between the law enforcement and Wanjiku? There is also mistrust levels between the two.
Yeah.
Between the Wanjiku and the law enforcers, people in authority. And for example, now the police are at their lowest at this particular time. And you saw what happened last week. People are coming to slap the police officers in the streets. We saw it on social media. That is the level of things. And if you don't do something about it, we will go to anarchy where people will be bringing goons to replace the police. And all of us will regret it. When you see people slapping police and nothing happens, on live on TV, and nothing happens, the police will take a backside. When they're beaten so much, they will take a backside. And they will see you being robbed in the streets of Nairobi, and they will do nothing, and they will be there.
Thank you.
Oscar, who started it? Victor, what you asking?
It's not about who started it. Let's do the right thing.
No. The government exists to do three things. Only. health, education, and security. So it is a
and
government
we
to
to a level where a police officer is being slapped.
You ask a question.
And Victor, you ask a question. And we think it is right.
Thank you. Victor, you ask a question. Wajiko wants to feel safe when they are arrested. That's what we are saying.
That's a very important question.
Yes.
Let's not end it that way. On how we bridge that gap, I propose the following. On top of doing the right thing, I also propose programs that will entail National Police Service to citizens. Programs like what? If at the OCS heads which level? At the lowest level. As talk about police posts. Whenever there are barazas, police can engage the citizens and ensure whichever information they get from the citizens, they keep it secret and confidential. That will improve the relationship between police, National Police Service, and the citizens.
Thank you.
Number two, we need also to relook at maybe the training of our officers. Victor, today everybody is talking about National Police Service. You can imagine I'm an officer serving under National Police Service. What is going on in my mind about what is happening? We need also once in a while we also relook at the training as well as also guidance and counseling. Because you can hear somebody taking harm against the other or against the citizens. So in this case, it is a two-way thing which I'm proposing this morning. Thank you.
And Victor, I'll quote Ipoa. 20 people died in police cells in 4 months. The last 4 months. This is Ipoa.
What was the front page of that newspaper? Front page? Just lift it up.
Just
lift it up. Thank you. What's on the front page? Debt crisis, waste. Yes, Mbadi, 14 trillion budget talk. That is also the front page. Thank you, DG, for that. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, that's what we have. Shameless top cops. That's also on the front page of the Standard. Shameless top cops. Oscar, what do you have there on the front page of the Daily Nation as we finalize? Daily Nation, there you have it. What do you have? Exposed. We can read it, Oscar. Kenya's arms in Sudan war. Kenya's arms in Sudan war. All right, that's where we wrap it up. Thank you so much. Today thank you even for helping me do the newspaper review. Oscar Mondi, governance and public policy expert. Thank you so much for joining us, Oscar. Today, that was not coffee. Honorable Francis Bongagi, Deputy Governor of Machakos County, asante sana for coming, sir. And Dr. Peter Mbai, Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP, and of course the gentleman who was accused of taking sides. I don't know why. Apostle James
that was quite unfair for the apostle.
Leadership expert and commentator. Asante sana for coming.
I forgive my persecutors.
Thank you so much. 7 times 7. That's where we wrap it up.
And taifa leo sitampa mtu kisu 2007. It's in the headlines.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor Lo. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.